It's in Warrington, Pennsylvania. We are here. It's me, Anthony SanFilippo, along with my good friend Chris Therien. Our usual lead-in guy, Russ Joy, is traipsing about Europe. He's over in Vienna right now. He's going to be heading to Barcelona thereafter. But we are here tonight at Chickie's and Pete's from 6 to 7, leading you into the Flyers Sabres game tonight. Big one up in Buffalo. But we have some special guests, Bundy.
We do.
We've been teasing this for a few days now. We have some folks have come out to see us from the Philadelphia Phantoms. Two of the Flyers' top prospects, Oliver Bonk and Carson Bjarnason. Hello, boys.
Boys, how are you doing?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Guys.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for making the drive. Right?
Yeah.
What was that drive like coming down from the Lehigh Valley?
Oh, it's all right. Only an hour.
That's
Not
it?
that bad.
Yeah.
We're good.
It's only an hour from my house too.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a
We all met
centralized
halfway.
halfway thing, right? We all
There we
kind of met halfway, right? Good stuff. Hey, you guys are off to a solid start this year. I mean, I know you're sitting in fourth place in the division, but you've got you've been things have been going pretty well. How would you assess the Phantoms season so far this year?
I think they started really good when I was injured, and then I came and kind of went into a bit of a slump. Had a tough couple of games, but I think lately the boys have been really good and kind of all came together and trying to all figure out our games and how we blend together. So I think it's been a lot better lately and been having a lot of fun.
So in other words, you're telling me the slump was your fault then?
That's what it seemed like when I first came, but we figured it out and now it's all good.
All right, that's good. I wanted to ask you both a very similar question because I think it's a little bit different probably for both of you. Honestly, Oliver, obviously you've been only 13 games. Carson, obviously you've been there since the beginning of the year. One of the things that I'm always told by guys when I talk to them in the NHL, they say, the hardest thing, you look back at your career, the hardest jump, and I know Bundy played collegiate hockey, but he could probably assess this as well. The hardest jump is from junior to the AHL. That it's actually tougher than going AHL to NHL. What has that been like for you guys in your first year? What is that going from junior to the AHL been like?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, personally, it hasn't been too bad. I credit a lot of that to the guys that we have on our team. We have a lot of veteran guys that have shown us the ropes really well, and obviously me and Oliver appreciate it a lot, especially him coming in, being hurt and stuff, and just kind of feeling like a tight knit group. So it hasn't been too bad personally, but I can't say I ever went from junior to the NHL, so I don't know what's easier, but yeah, I mean it's definitely a different game, just overall IQ of everything, and the way the guys see the ice and all that such. So as a goalie, it's definitely important for IQ and knowing how to read the play and releases and such. But the guys in front of me have definitely made it a lot easier.
I got to imagine it's faster, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Is that the biggest difference that you notice is the speed?
Yeah, I think so. Just like I said, like IQ of it and just the way they process it, a little quicker than junior, and the way they see the ice. Obviously, there's plays that are predictable, and that's the thing about pro hockey. It's almost easier in that sense, just the way that you kind of know where things are going. But obviously, there's those few players even on our team that can just see the ice that much better than you can and make those surreal plays. So,
and Oliver, for you, I mean, obviously you had the injury, right? So it was a little bit slower process for you before your season began. First of all, I guess a lot of people or fans must be wondering, how are you feeling? I mean, I know you played 13 games, but
yeah,
feels good.
I feel normal now, so back to normal, all good now.
That's good. That's a good thing. But how has it been for you as well? Have you noticed a little bit of a jump there from what you were used to?
Yeah, like Barney said, I think it's a lot faster. Every guy here is better. Then you can't take shifts off. You can't give any guy space because they're all competent hockey players that know how to make a play now. So just what Barney said, I think faster. All the guys are a little bit that much better. So definitely a big jump.
What's something that surprised you guys since you've been there, like with playing pro hockey? You're coming from junior, successful program last year in London, winning the Memorial Cup. Is there something that's really like when you get into the pro games, your first games, and you both say to yourself, holy geez, like this is really different? Is there something that just shocked you right out of the blue?
I think just for me, away from the rink, just like not having a schedule on your own time and stuff like that. Like on the road, it's you're at dinner on your own, and you kind of find your own niche and group of guys. So At the rink, I wouldn't say anything too specific. Just, obviously workouts and practices are always hard, and we enjoy that and that part of the game. But away from the rink, I mean, on the road, like in the hotel, you're organizing your own dinner and stuff. So it's definitely different. It's kind of nice to have that freedom, and obviously there's no bedtime or anything set by the coaches. So it's kind of nice. You're kind of on your own ropes to take care of yourself and kind of fend for yourself. So
Speaking of dinner, good places to eat up there in the Lehigh Valley?
I haven't been out a whole lot. I went to last year. We went to Orchard, I think it's called. It's a steakhouse downtown Bethlehem. Cal Peterson took us out there, and it was very lovely of him. It was a nice dinner. It was definitely the fanciest place I'd ever been to. So there's a couple of spots. Still kind of figuring it out.
How about the bus rides, guys? That was for me when I turned pro.
Yeah.
That was like getting slapped across the face. When I went from the Canadian Olympic team right to the Hershey I played 6 games that year before I went pro with the Flyers the next year. But the bus rides to me was like getting like a wide open smack. I was like, because I couldn't believe it. You're driving like you're there going on a Thursday to a Friday. Then you're putting 5 hours in after a Friday game to drive to your next location,
I mean, it's not bad. Like we leave the day before a lot of the time, and obviously in the Western Hockey League, it's definitely not ideal. I mean, I think we were the furthest east team in the whole league, obviously, other than like Prince George. I think their travel is probably the worst, but Brandon definitely, I think, has to be up there. We always had worst, I think, we always had some pretty rigorous trips, and credit to Ray, our old bus driver there. He always got us there safe and sound. So I mean, not pretty seamless for me. Like I'm definitely used to it.
What do you guys do on the bus? What's the big deal on the bus?
The boys like to play cards a lot. Gets pretty hectic playing cards. Just a lot of the time is taken up by that. You'd be surprised by how much time gets taken up by playing cards and things like that. But other than that, you just kind of chill. You do your own stuff. If you're not playing cards, you just kind of chill there. There's not much else to do. But I think our bus is really nice. Like it's very comfortable. All the seats, like it makes it so much more different than, in junior, it's just like a normal bus. This is a really nice bus that we've got going to every game. I really appreciate it. And like makes a huge difference for me.
I'm glad the card game hasn't gone away. That's one thing that hasn't changed in 25 years.
Yeah.
Long live the card game.
That's right. Long live it. Right. I wanted to ask you guys about the coaching staff. I mean, maybe you can both talk a little bit differently. Obviously, Oliver as a defenseman and Carson as a goalie. It's mostly a brand new group there with the Phantoms. Obviously, Snowden was there as an assistant. He's now the head coach. You guys deal with with Nick Schultz and Terrence Wallen, Brady Robinson. What's it been like with that group? Like, what have they been like? And Carson, obviously, you're working with Brady, more one-on-one there. What has that group been like?
It's been a super smooth transition. I mean, you definitely wouldn't think it's their first year together. Right? We haven't had any issues, and I don't foresee any issues coming about. It's been super nice, and they talk lots and let you know. If you have any questions, they're obviously pretty quick to answer, and they're there. So, huge credit to Snow. He's definitely made it seem easy. When it's not going into a pro job, at the AHL level. So, he's very well-rounded coach. Respect his game plan a lot, and whether that be any kind of penalty kill or power play or 5-on-5 advice, just overall game. I think last year he was the power play coach. So. He's kind of got that well-rounded, aspect of coaching, and it's been very easy and very nice to follow along.
And Oliver, you get to work with Nick Schultz, I'm assuming, a lot. Obviously, you got a guy with a ton of NHL experience. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been great. He's amazing. He's a great coach, very knowledgeable guy. He's hilarious on the bench too. Like some of his one-liners, like he'll like yell at the forwards because he's still got that D in him. So like he'll get mad at the forwards when they're not open, and he'll make it like funny jokes that you usually like you hear the guys making on the bench, but he's at the same time you ask him questions and he knows a lot. So I think it's a great mix of like, you get a good laugh with him, but he's also played over 1,000 games in the NHL, so obviously knows his stuff, and you can pick his brain at whatever you want.
Have you guys talked to management? I remember my first year when Bob Clark took over, he kind of laid out a game plan for me in terms of what they thought my projected development would be when they wanted me with the team. Have you guys had those conversations with the team where they said, hey guys, like, this is what we see, this is where we see you going, and here's how you're going to get there? Is that something that you guys have had those kind of discussions with management?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing would be coming out of camp. That kind of that kind of conversation was had, I think, with Danny and Flairsy up top. But for the most part, it's been nice. It's just kind of, you know, we've been down here, us young guys, and just kind of working away at our game, you know, kind of day to day, and you know, making the most of each of it. So you know, we talk with a lot of the coaches. I can't speak for Oliver. I don't know, but I don't converse a whole lot with the guys up top. But it's kind of nice. They know that we're kind of doing our thing down here, and you know, developing and taking our time. So however long that may take, obviously you'd like it to be tomorrow, and you know, make it snappy, make it quick. But it's definitely a process, and you know, especially as a goalie speaking, it's you know, it takes time. So you know, I'm happy to be where I am, obviously, in the first place. So just kind of taking it day to day, and you know, just kind of putting my working boots on.
Awesome. We got a question from a fan in the stream, so I figured I'd ask it. Brian Knowlton asks, what have you guys enjoyed the most about being part of the organization, of the Flyers organization, as part of your first pro experience?
Gibber.
I think for the Flyers have been really, really open and really classy about everything. We've like since I've been drafted, they've been, as you said, like with the plans and stuff like that, they've been open and they've been transparent of what they're trying to do with the team. And you know, it depends on us too as players to like, yeah, it's great they lay out a plan, but are you gonna get better, and are you working every day to get better? So you can be there quicker, you can be there slower, depending on kind of how you. They're just depending on how you work, you know, and how much you want it. But I think they've just been really, really open and really professional about everything.
That's awesome. Carson, I wanted to ask you about the tandem with Alexei Kolosov. Obviously, there was a lot of stuff last year, and fans were very interested in his kind of renaissance this year. He's been a lot better player down there with the Phantoms. His numbers look really good. What has it been like working with him in tandem as a pair? Yeah,
it's been great. I mean, he's a great guy to follow, and you know, obviously doesn't speak the most English, but you know, that barrier is kind of trampled a couple months ago. I think me and him have you know, grown close. We crack the odd jokes, and you know, he speaks to me when he wants, and it's, you know, I definitely understand him. So it's been nice. I mean, watching his work habits and everything. Obviously, he's a pro, and before he came here, he was a professional. So there's always things you can take from his game and just kind of build towards mine. So.
Yeah, and Oliver, one guy I wanted to ask you about, because you know him better than maybe anybody in this organization, Denver Barkey. Right. Obviously, he came up, made a big impact right away with the Flyers. I know he's not in the lineup tonight, but I'm assuming you're not surprised at all about how he hit the ground running once he hit the NHL. Right.
No. I think he's meant for more of the NHL than he is the AHL. I think the way the AHL is played is kind of more less possession, less give and go. You know, guys maybe don't see the play as much as he does, and he has one of those elite minds that when he plays with players like you saw, they put him with Couturier and Tipper. First game, I think?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he was making plays, and he continued to make plays. I think he's been playing unreal. Like, I love watching that guy. But you play him with – that's the guy that I feel like you play him with really good players, and he makes them that much better and can make those little, like, plays that some guys don't even see.
He seems like one of those guys. Like, I remember when I came from the American League to the NHL, I noticed immediately that it was easier to play at the NHL level.
Yeah.
Because guys, when you circle the net, the winger's there on the boards, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's predictable. You know where they're going to be.
It's not as scrambly, right?
Yeah.
You guys, is that something else you take notice of? Even when you play a preseason game with the Flyers, do you notice that type of difference when you get to play with higher end guys?
I mean, yeah, I think I've only played in like 2 or 3 preseason games in the past couple of years, but you know, from a goaltending perspective, it's nice. I knew where my D-men were, and I knew where they had to be and everything. And it goes for the AHL too. I mean, like, I have a lot of faith in the guys, you know, in front of me, and just where they are, where they're supposed to be, playing the puck. Like, everything just seems super seamless and you know, pretty smooth of a transition from junior. So you know, I can't speak for regular season. Obviously, I haven't played an NHL game, but you know, even in the AHL, it's, you know, it's something, you know, where your guys are supposed to be. So it's definitely calming out there.
Cool. Before I told you guys I want to do like a little fun thing with you where we talk about some of your teammates with some superlatives. So I'm going to do that. But before we get to that, I want to just give the fans an opportunity out there to know about Phantoms hockey and what, you know, why you should go out there and check out a game up in Lehigh Valley. It's an awesome arena up there. You guys get good crowds, right? Yeah. You guys can ring in 2026 with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms Get this, Bundy. $26 tickets to any January home game.
Yeah, that's a great. I saw that the other day on Twitter. Great deal.
All right, now listen, like you and I, if we wanted to go up there, we can get in for free, right?
Right.
I would pay $26 for a ticket
Yes.
to see AHL hockey.
Yeah,
It's a
hell of a
very
price.
good brand of hockey, right? So I would spend $26 for tickets to any January home game at PPL Center. Limited time. Don't miss out. Visit phantomshockey.com to purchase your tickets now before this offer ends. Tomorrow, Thursday, January the 15th at 11:59 p.m. So that means at midnight, forget it, you're out. 2 games this weekend at home, one against Bridgeport and the other one's against Syracuse. Is that correct? That's what you guys got coming up, right? So two big games up at PPL this weekend. Be sure to check out the Phantoms. Go get your tickets now at phantomshockey.com. All right, guys.
I guess I was going to ask a more question. I guess your schedule doesn't really from playing in the minors is mostly weekend games, so that kind of lines up a little bit with major junior, right?
Yeah, I mean,
the scheduling.
Yeah, like I mean, in Brandon, we'd always have whatever Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't think we ever played Thursday, but like Friday games, and that happens. Just it'll be like a 3 p.m. game or something like that. But obviously that'll happen in the American League. But yeah, a lot of weekend games, which is nice.
Yeah.
Whether that be at home or on the road, it's kind of the same thing.
Before I get to this fun stuff, I did have one other thing I forgot to ask you guys. I wanted to ask. It seems like, and you guys can tell me, it seems like something that's a little bit different this year than maybe it was last year at the AHL level. You guys are pretty much playing the same systems that they're playing up at the NHL level, correct?
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case last year. What is it a unique system that Talk has kind of brought here? Or is it different than what you guys have been used to before? Can you talk about that a little bit at all?
I mean, in London, we were man on man in the defensive zone, which is you don't see it a lot. So obviously, it's a change coming into this system. But as you were asking, like, is there uniqueness to Talk system? Of course there is. There's like uniqueness. Every system's a bit unique on the rules and the guidelines of where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there. But I think there's nothing too complicated about it. I think it's nice that both teams are trying to play the same way. I think it makes it more flawless for guys going up and down, and so you don't have to learn an entire new system, So I think there's definitely things that are unique to Talk system and ways that he wants it done. But I think also it's great that we're both teams are trying to do it. So I think it makes it a lot easier. That's great.
All right, here we go. This is going to be fun. We're going to have some fun now. And if you guys have the same answer, it's fine. But if you have a different answer, that's cool too. So it's all right. So I'm going to ask each of you the 10 questions about your teammates. All right, and you tell me which one is, which of your teammates fits this superlative best. Which one of your teammates is most likely to forget their wallet when you guys go on a road trip?
You go. I think I'm following late on this one.
I'm gonna say Sawyer Bolton. Probably.
Yeah,
really?
I'll retweet that one. Yeah.
Sawyer Bolton. Okay.
Is he just a forgetful guy in general?
He's just not the brightest guy. It's not just forgetfulness, but yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm not saying he's a dumb guy. Sometimes he just doesn't have the brightest moments.
It's common sense, right? He's maybe lacks common sense, right? That's that simple. I mean, I used to be that way when I was younger. I lacked a lot of common sense. I mean, you guys are young, so I know this might be a tougher question for you, but is anybody like a really good at cooking for themselves yet? Is there anybody that's a really good home chef?
I mean, Barney's not going to toot his own horn, but he made me dinner one night. I feel like he's a pretty good chef. I feel like I'm a pretty good chef. I feel like probably we're the best two on the team. I've heard a lot of Uber Eats. Probably not on the team because there's a lot of I didn't think about the older guys that are probably haven't figured out a bit more.
Yeah.
But under 22, I think me and Barney are probably
All right, so he made you dinner. What did he make you?
It was just breakfast, probably. But
I think we just had eggs and eggs and bacon. But I've talked to him a couple times and a couple other things that he's made, and he's getting vodka sauce and stuff like that.
Get out of town.
He's getting a couple things going that you don't usually see in a 21-year-old's kitchen. So
that's
impressive.
He won't say it for himself either. But Bonker and Carson Dorr definitely are the two guys that I'd go over for dinner. I think those two guys have a maturity level far beyond their ages, as they may say. So I'll give credit to those two.
All right, here's another one. Who's the worst driver on the team?
I don't know.
Somebody gets lost.
Who's
directions.
Anybody got
Directions are just
Well, you can,
reckless
Who
driving.
would you just
Feel
not want
free.
to ride in a car with?
right. Feel free. Either you take it whichever
I-
direction you want to
I
go,
re-
Oliver.
I like the way Bonker and Hunter
No,
McDonald
it's
drive.
who you don't want.
I know. I like the way you two drive. It's a
I'm gonna
little
toss it out there
speedy, and they
again.
have
Sorry,
Audis,
Bolden. Sorry,
but-
Bolden again for me. I think.
Yeah, I've never driven with them, but you think so? Okay, yeah. Bolts.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the
buddy.
nuts
Yeah.
over there.
Bolts
I've
again.
never
huh?
driven
Bolts
with them,
again,
but
yeah,
you know.
you guys should see this guy. He's a specimen.
He's a
He's a
specimen. Oh, that's funny. All right. Who is most addicted to their phone?
Oh.
Most addicted to their
Probably
phone.
us, me and you, because on the bus, I mean, we just sit there and listen to music and
Yeah,
don't do a whole lot. We watch cards the other time, but
yeah, probably. I wouldn't call it addiction though. It's on the bus, but there's not really not really that many
nobody
people at
stands
the
out
rink, you know,
that just lives on their phone.
if
There
you're
definitely
getting
isn't.
treatment or stuff, usually sometimes you see guys on their phones, but
Yeah.
I haven't really seen much of that. I don't
Really?
have
So
an
it's not
answer
like
for you.
nobody's like scrolling through like TikTok videos or anything
I
like
don't have
that.
a definitive answer for you there. On that one.
Nothing in intermissions. No,
Yeah, intermissions would be
no,
kinda
no
crazy.
suspicious activity in that resort. So I think our team's pretty good for that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest clean freak?
I like being clean, but I don't think I'm too
Yeah.
crazy about it. I mean, Carson Dorwart's definitely a guy I'd live with. That's definitely somebody I lived with him a bit in the summer, and he's got a pretty tight ship, and I like that. So
So is that your answer?
I think Katie.
Katie, yeah.
Yeah.
You or Katie.
I think
you
mine
also.
might be Barks. He lives
Yeah?
with
yeah.
four guys right now, so it's probably dialed back a little bit because he's obviously living with four other guys. But I'm pretty much in every hotel with him for camps and stuff, and he is a guy that likes it tidy and clean and
Okay.
very very organized.
That's good. That's good. Which one of your teammates is most likely to start their own business one day?
Sawyer?
Not Sawyer. Not Sawyer Bolton.
I don't think Bolt's well. No. Hunter's got a great mind. He's definitely thinks outside the box a lot of the time. Merch also. But like start their own business. I mean, who has the aspirations to do that?
I mean, I could see Murchison doing that.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of
Kaplan and
And-
Bumper would join together.
Cap and
to-
Bumper
to
would
make
join
a
together
great
and make some
business.
combined brand, but I don't think they have the brains to pull it off. I think Murchison is a bit more. I think he's got the Instagram presence. He's got the jam to kind of
Jam.
get the company started. So
Okay.
I'd say him.
Okay, cool. Who's the best storyteller on the team?
Bolt. Yeah. Like right? Come on. I mean,
Bolts
he argues in the middle of it just to make sure his points got
Yeah.
across. So like, I love that. I love listening to him.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I'd say Peterson too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
There's a couple times where like I'll just pick his brain about he's been there and been around and stuff like that. So I'll talk to him and he has like good one-liners and jokes and funny stuff to say like that too. So I would say him maybe.
Okay. Who's the most likely to sleep through an alarm?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
We got to stop saying Bolts. So maybe Alex Bump. Maybe
I actually
Bumper?
couldn't tell you.
I would say
Hey,
Bumper.
I
Maybe
don't know.
I would throw that out there.
Yeah, I know if you guys keep going with Sawyer Bolton, we might have to rename the podcast
Yeah.
episode.
Right. Yeah. I would say Bumper for that one.
Yeah,
I
I'm
could see
not
that
sure.
happening.
Okay. All right. Who's the team fashion icon? Who dresses the best?
Oh.
Like game day, shows up in the right fit. Like who's the team fashion guy?
The Swedes always got to figure
Yeah,
out. Ginning,
all the Swedes.
Ginner is probably the most stylish.
Gronzi merch shows up in
Yeah.
a really nice pinstriped,
He's always dripping, too.
double-breasted with the. I think he'll rock like a plain white T-shirt under it too. It's like super clean.
Okay.
Wisdom.
Yeah, there's a good
There's
amount
a
of guys.
lot of guys. Eklund always has
Yeah.
a nice little outfit going on. I
All
like
right. So conversely, who is not fashion forward?
me. Probably. I mean,
I haven't
don't
seen
know.
your game day fits
no,
yet.
and you won't. I don't think. That's why I show up 3 hours early.
Yeah.
So nobody sees anything.
So you beat the PR people there,
Yeah,
so they
yeah,
can't
yeah.
take a
I
photo
do.
of
he
you,
beats
right?
the
Yeah.
cameras to the
You
right.
guys don't need to wear suits
Connor
anymore
hasn't
either,
seen
right?
me one time.
Yeah,
no.
you don't need to. Some like guys still will.
Yeah.
I'm between suit and business cash.
Yeah.
Like change it up from game to game. So
Pretty cool. All right, my last one for you guys. Which one of your teammates is most likely to become famous for something random?
Lane Peterson could be a comedian.
yeah, he could be.
Yeah, he could be a comedian.
He could be a comedian.
Murchison could be something. Definitely something. He has a nice taste of stuff, like just clothes, fashion, like that kind of stuff.
You know, what's an interesting thing with him
know.
in training camp? He did one of those videos where you guys had to answer a question as you guys were walking onto the ice at Voorhees. And I think one of the question that day was, tell me something you know something the most about that nobody else really knows a lot about.
What did he say?
Musical theater.
Oh,
Yeah, he's that type of guy. You know, he's kind of
he's well rounded. He's got
well
it
rounded.
all. Macker could do something with cars. I feel like he knows quite a bit about all that kind of stuff. He's a smart guy with cars.
I don't know about Macker and cars. I don't know that. Maybe you got him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Well, we got a well-rounded team. We got
do.
guys with different varieties, so it's nice. You need a question, somebody's got it.
That's great.
There you go.
That's great. Well, boys, listen, we appreciate you stopping down and hanging out with us for a half hour today. Thank you so much, Oliver Bonk, Carson Bjarnason.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thanks
us,
for
guys.
coming on to Snow the Goalie. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, boys.
And we will see you soon, right?
Absolutely.
All right, take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Take
Appreciate
care.
you.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Great stuff.
Good
great
stuff,
guys.
right, Bundy?
Yeah, they're both doing really great down in the with Lehigh Valley too. Both these guys. So
Yeah.
13 games ago, Oliver came back and he had a multi-point game in Toronto last week.
Yeah, his first multi-point game as a pro, right? I believe
And
it
Carson's
was.
got a great record down in the minors too. Is it 9-3-1?
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Make sure you boys get something to eat before you get out of here.
Yeah. Get yourself some food, guys.
Yeah. Say hi to the fans, everything.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
stuff. Thank you
Appreciate
very
you.
much. Appreciate you. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Bundy, we have a bunch of things to get to as far as the real Flyers.
Yeah.
The big boys. They're back tonight in Buffalo, first of back-to-back games. Dan Vladar getting the start tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Does that surprise you at all?
No. The
Doesn't.
Flyers need the points.
Yep.
And they need to get him right back on the horse after the tough night he had the other night. And no, I don't think there's any issue at all with him going back into the pipes. So worry about tomorrow night when it comes, but they got to get these points tonight.
Yeah, I agree. And Jamie Drysdale back in the lineup tonight. It looks like they're changing up the defensive pairs a little bit.
Are they tonight?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be. I think it was. Let me pull it up. I believe it was Sanheim and Ristolainen. If I want to say that's, let me just pull up real fast because I had it sent over to me what it was going to be. I'll tell you in 1 second. Yeah, Sanheim, Ristolainen, York and Drysdale, Sealer and Andre is the defensive pairs for tonight.
Okay.
And then the lines will be obviously Zegras, Dvorak, Konechny, Michkov back with Couturier and Grunstrom. That's a new combination. Grabenkin playing with Cates and Tippett instead of Michkov on that line. They're playing Grabenkin on that line. And then Delorier, Obels, and Hathaway is your fourth line for tonight.
Yeah, the Flyers need to dig themselves out. I know they've lost 3 in a row, one of the first one being to Toronto in overtime. But they need to figure their stuff out really quick here because, you see what happens when you lose those 3 games, you get 1 point out of possible 6, you're out of the playoffs.
Right.
That's what happens. And it's such a fine line. One of these teams goes on a 6 or 8 game losing streak, they're done.
Yeah.
You're finished. And that just can't happen to this Flyers team.
Yeah. Linden 49 brings up something I wanted to talk about, and I know that we should bring it up here since we're talking about the lineup tonight. He says, I wish Barkey was playing. Barkey's not in the lineup tonight. First time he's out of the lineup since he's been called up. I felt, and we talked about this at the end of the game the other night, Bundy, I felt like his last 3 games, starting with the Toronto game, his last 3 games, it's been looking like it's been wearing on him a little bit.
They've been a little rich for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially the 2 Tampa games.
Yeah.
You got to look at the best.
Right.
And it's a lot to keep up with at one shift after another.
Yeah. And Talk said he wants to make him watch the game from up top. He says he can learn a lot from watching the game up top, right?
Yep.
And so you have a situation where, you look at that and you say, okay, you got Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Rangers, all important games. But then next week you talk about playing tough teams. You got Vegas. Utah's a pretty good team. And then you end up in Colorado, right? Like, that might be a lot for him to handle. It would not surprise me if he goes back to the AHL for a short stint and then eventually comes back up just to kind of get him playing some minutes again so that they don't feel like they have to find shifts for him against those better teams.
And I think that's exactly what happened. They were trying to find a way to get him on the ice rather than just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And I think those games were just a little bit too much for him. They caught up to him. He's been up here. It's a lot, too, playing a lot of games in a shorter period span. He's been living out of his suitcase in a hotel, like in terms of I don't know if it's a hotel or not, but he's been living out of his suitcase for over 3 weeks now, and that's a tough thing to live with, too.
Right, and Talk was talking about that, too. He's like, you don't want a guy living out of a suitcase, right, for the entirety of his time that he's here. You got to make a decision at some point, either get a place to stay or, up here, or you go back down again. So that's kind of where it's at. I would not be surprised if he goes down. And so the interesting thing is going to be if you send him down, let's say you send him down, who comes up? And I don't think it's an automatic that it's just another forward.
Yeah, might it be a goalie?
Yes, that's where I was getting to.
Yeah,
that's where I was getting to. I think that there's a possibility that Kolosov is the guy that's called up if you send Barkey down.
Yeah. I mean, especially we haven't heard anything about Urson except he needs to be better.
Yeah.
So they're playing Vladar tonight, but I mean, you're not going to play Vladar again tomorrow night.
Correct.
So who are you going to play in the pipes in that game?
And it could be a situation where they wait and see what they do tonight.
Right.
Well, first of all, they absolutely are waiting and seeing on any decision because you never know. Somebody could get hurt in the game tonight,
right.
And that changes the calculus, right? So you always wait till the last minute to make that roster decision. But I really think that they might look at that and say, let's give Kolosov a shot against Pittsburgh and just see what we got.
Yeah.
See how he looks. Yeah. Maybe he looks bad again, like he did last year. And then you say, all right, well, we learned, right? But it can't be worse than 858 save percentage that they've been getting out of Sam Urson.
No.
Right?
I agree.
I think that's a very real possibility for the Flyers tomorrow. I'm not saying it's 100% that that's the case, but I think that there's a chance. You might see Urson tomorrow. If you do, I don't agree with it.
My only thing is they didn't make the change before the trip. So if you got to get Kolosov there tomorrow, you got to get him out to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but it's Pittsburgh.
I know. It's still four hours from Allentown.
Yeah, half hour, 45-minute flight.
If they're going to fly him, but he's got to drive into Philadelphia. Well, unless they got to
fly out from Lehigh Valley. You can fly
out
of there. Right? I'm saying it's not that hard of a flight, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. But anyway, hey, just as a reminder for everyone, we are at Chickies and Pete's here in Warrington, and we're at a different Chickies and Pete's every Wednesday for Snow the Goalie. Although next week, because of Russ's trip, he gets back on Wednesday, so we're bumping it to Thursday next week. So next week it's Thursday, and we are in Northeast Philly, right? Boulevard next Thursday, right? Yep. So we're in Northeast Philly next Thursday at the Boulevard location. Be sure to check us out at Chickies and Pete's next week. And what you need to do when you go to Chickies and Pete's is you got to get some of the great food. And we talk about the Bundy every week. Gets the same thing. He kills it, and he loves it. It's the bowl clam chowder, 10 peel. 12 peel in each shrimp. What is it, 10 or 12?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a double-digit number. And then traditional pie. I've been all over the place. I get something different on the menu pretty regularly. Although lately I've been tied into the fish tacos, man. I had another set of fish tacos tonight. They are awesome. So be sure to get some of the great food at Chickies and Pete's whenever you go out there. And there's 2 locations at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. I almost said Wells Fargo Center again.
I know.
I almost said it again. I caught myself. At the Xfinity Mobile Arena, one in the East Food Hall, and then outside section 103. So be sure to check them out there. Another thing we have to do, Bundy, and this is going to be hard tonight. Just because, now I know that we missed a show last week. So it's been really 2 weeks since we did this. But we have to come up with our Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week. And that is a very difficult thing to do considering the past week has been terrible for the Flyers. And just as a reminder, it's brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. Bundy, you got anybody?
Well,
I've been struggling with this one all day.
I'm reaching, and I'm going to throw a little stuff behind it, but I'm actually going to go with Christian Dvorak.
Okay.
He scored the lone goal against Tampa the other night, and he signed his contract, the 5-year extension, like right around the time that the week turned. And And so that's kind of one of the reasons I'm taking Dvorak. He's earned a 5-year deal, scored the lone goal against Tampa in the Monday night defeat. So I go with Christian Dvorak for continually being a consistent player and getting rewarded with a new contract.
The one that I came up with to rival that, and this is again kind of a stretch, but I think it considering it was the last week. Garnet Hathaway.
Yeah, he's been good.
Scored a goal.
Yep.
Finally scored a goal.
Yep.
But no, seriously, the way he's played on the fourth line is exactly how he needs to play.
He needs to play like that every night
if he's going to be in the lineup.
Yeah. And the message was taken by him. Like he
Yeah.
got scratched and it wasn't a good thing. I mean, he was out for 6 or 7 games, 6 maybe.
Yeah, 6 games
in a row.
It was 6 games.
And he came back in and immediately the message was taken. Like
Yeah.
you saw a different player on the ice.
Yeah, you did. And he's been mixing it up. Like he's been physical. He's been, getting in, being a pest to guys, getting in their faces. Like he went to the front of the net, got that nice deflection on the goal that he scored. That's what they need out of Garnet Hathaway. If Garnet Hathaway could play like that, you're not looking to find another fourth line winger.
No.
Right? I mean, you're not. I mean, that's exactly what a fourth line guy is supposed to be doing. So that was my guy. My guy is Garnet Hathaway.
I like that one too, though. And I'm going to ride you with that one.
Oh, okay.
It's a better fit than Dvorak.
Okay, good. So we came to an agreement there.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So Garnet Hathaway, congratulations. Garnet Hathaway, you are the Flyers Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions, catering to the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them today, once again, at 1-866-PAY-EASY. Bundy, the power play, man, I feel like we go over this game in and game out. And I feel like a broken record talking about it. But when you look at it, like they are worse now. And there's better players on this team this year.
Yeah.
They are worse now than they were under Rocky Thompson.
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, especially when you got a setup guy like Zegras, right, who passes the puck so well in the offensive zone.
Yeah.
Sees open men, and the power play still hasn't responded. Keep in mind, it's had a good start to the season. It did going back to October. It looked good, seen a lot of looks. But what I think that they consistently don't do, they don't move around enough, and they don't attack the middle of the ice enough.
Yeah.
They're trying to make things too cute from the outside, from the half boards. It's a half board setup, and I still think that they need to get more point shots through and drive the net for traffic.
Well, when you talk about that, getting more point shots through, if someone asked me last week, well, why are they playing Rasmus Ristolainen on the second power play?
Because of his shot.
He's got a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's at least he may not be the best puck mover on the blue line, right? He's not gonna dance along the blue line and do that at the top level, right? You probably have better guys in York and Drysdale and Sanheim that can do that. But at the very least, he's getting shots towards the net. And
Yes.
I think that's what you're talking about and what they're hoping to accomplish with that. But you still need to get bodies in front.
Yeah, and I think really, there's no doubt that to me is the magic ingredient to a power play is net front traffic. You can have the cutest moves and the setup from the half boards in, looking for those nice one-timers like Giroux used to execute with some wingers. But the bottom line is if you don't really get into that blue paint and attack it and get shots through on a power play, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, as a former defenseman, the hardest way to defend a power play is when they shoot the puck from the point and it goes to the front net, because a multitude of things can happen. And they have the extra man that's going to find the puck most of the time before the defenseman. Defending defenseman.
How important is the fact is a face-off on the power play?
Huge, because that's why the percentages have gone up so much. If you win your draw, when they give you the offensive zone draw, remember years ago, it didn't used to be like that. You took the penalty, you took the draw where the penalty was.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why percentages are up in the 20s now, because there's offensive zone draws. And if you win that, you get possession and you're able to keep, the momentum going. You have possession of the puck on the power play and try to work something out.
The Flyers, other than Couturier, who's been above average, have been terrible at faceoffs.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So how much that could be impacting them as well, right? On those power plays, because Couturier is not really a power play guy. They trot him out there, I guess, sometimes for a faceoff. But really, when you look at that top unit, like it's they tried Noah Cates out there. He wasn't winning the draws. Zegras isn't winning the draws.
Right.
Dvorak is a little bit better, but he's still not winning the draws on the power play. Like, I got to think that is just as important as getting the shots from the point and getting bodies in front. Like, if you're looking for the 3 strikes for the Flyers, it's they don't have a good shot from the point, they don't get bodies in front, and they don't start with possession in the zone, and they got to constantly bring it up the ice.
They had a horrible face-off percent. Was it the first game against Tampa? It was really bad.
Yes.
Really, really bad. And they got taken advantage of in that game. Yeah, draws have been an issue for this team, and that's why Coots probably still sees some bigger minutes and bigger situations because of his ability to win the draws sometimes. So, it goes in a lot. But on a power play, yes, winning that draw in the offensive zone, to me, becomes paramount to running a good power play, because if you lose it and then they fire it down, you got to go down, and you know how the setup goes. It's not perfect every time when you go the length of the ice to try to come in the zone under control. So that's definitely one of those areas in the game where they just need to be better at.
So getting back to, I know Russ hates talking about the game that's coming up, right? Because obviously by the time a lot of people listen to this episode, it will be after the game. And I'll be like, well, do we really want to listen to them talk about a game that has already happened? This is a question I'm going to ask that I think will carry through even after the game against Buffalo, if people are listening tomorrow or Thursday or later in the week. What do you think the reasoning is for breaking up the Sanheim-York pairing?
That's a good question. I think maybe just to get a different look, and I'll be honest with you, I think both guys have struggled in those 2 games against Tampa.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get yourself caught in a little bit of a rut. Or even playing with Desjardins, there'd be once in a blue moon, they just switch us up for a little while. Not long, but it would just throw a little bit of a wrench and give a different look, a fresh look. It's no different than a line where you're playing with the same 3 guys and it gets stale.
Yeah.
And then you just change up those lines just to kind of unravel a little bit. Then sometimes you can put it back together. But I think that's one thing. I think Sanheim on the left and then Risto playing on the right is another a good tell, because they're both playing on their same sides.
Right. Sanheim's been playing on the opposite side with York, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's one reason. And then let's see what Risto does. I mean, I think maybe that gives an opportunity to put a true shutdown pair, because Risto to me is a more defensive-minded player than Cam York.
Yeah.
So if they're going to try to maybe do a matchup with those 2 guys, we'll see how that works itself out.
Does that allow Sanheim to be a little bit more up ice, having him with a partner like Ristolainen?
I think so, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Because he's the one guy that, like, if you watch, like, you see that he's willing to take that chance to go down, in the offensive zone, go down low, even behind the net or in front of the net, or look for a play.
Yeah.
Maybe more so than anybody else on the defensive unit. And I'm just wondering if that's another byproduct that they're looking for by pairing him with a guy like Ristolainen, who's not going to go down there.
Yeah, and Risto does go down sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, he does go down to the net sometimes when he gets a rush chance. So, I mean, they're going to encourage both guys if there's an opportunity to get up the ice for the added layer of offense. But I think Sanheim's more the guy that can contribute offensively than Ristolainen. I think they're just looking for some separation tonight from those 2 guys, give them a fresh look, and then see if a Sanheim, Ristolainen, 2 guys playing on their same sides gives them a better defensive matchup against offensive opponents' top lines.
Yeah, very well. Could be the case. On the offensive side, we talked about the lines being a little bit different, and obviously the top lines together, the fourth lines together, but they mixed and matched the second and third line. What do you think they're looking for there by putting Gurbenkin now with Noah Cates and putting Michkov back with Couturier? So it's Gurbenkin, Cates, and who did I say it was? Gurbenkin, Cates, and was it Tippett?
Tippett. No. Why'd you do this to me? Yeah. It's Gurbenkin, Cates, and Tippett, yes. And then Michkov, Couturier, and Grundstrom.
Grundstrom, right. Yeah. So what do you think that they're looking to do there?
I wish you would have asked me that at the end of the 20 minutes of the first period. Because I'm not 100% sure with the Michkov, Couturier, and Grundstrom line. That looks like it's more like 2 guys are set up to be checkers.
Yeah.
Grundstrom and Couturier.
Yeah.
And that leaves Michkov in a weird situation. But Gurbenkin, Cates, and Tippett, I mean, Gurbenkin's showing a lot of flair lately. Yeah. He gets up on the play. He hangs on to the puck. He makes good plays. That could be a line that actually I don't mind that line. With Tippett skating, Cates' ability to play good defense and dish the puck a little bit.
Yeah.
That could be an interesting line, putting Gurbenkin there. But again, we'll see what Michkov and Couturier and Grundstrom do. That's the line I'm going to be focused on tonight.
Well, I think, and I think it's fair to say this, right? I think that they're trying to find a spot for Michkov.
Yeah,
because he's the one guy that is kind of like doesn't have a fit in this lineup right now, just because of the way he's played. I mean, it's not ripping the guy. I mean, it's based on facts. He's got 1 goal in the last 7 weeks, and it was an empty netter. Like, they're not getting any production from him. He's obviously struggling. He's fighting through it. It just seems that they can't find a set place for him to play that makes sense. So I don't know. You're putting him with 2 guys that are checkers because they'll protect him a little bit because he has turned the puck over a little bit. He's made some questionable plays. Like, is that kind of Tockett's mentality there? Putting him back with Couturier, who we had him with at the beginning of the year, and just basically saying, all right, Couturier, Grundstrom, they're a little bit more reliable. I think we can protect Michkov a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so, Anthony. I mean, just looking at all the lines today, it looks like he's kind of trying to even them all out. Like, except for the, Dvorak, Zegras, and Konechny, it's been a mainstay now for quite some time. I think that's what they're doing with Michkov. They're putting them with Couturier and Grundstrom, 2 responsible players, and let them see if they can come together offensively as well as defensively. Yeah. But, I mean, that's a tough spot for Michkov to be in because – Coots isn't exactly lighting it up either. No. So, I mean, and then Grundstrom, has kind of come back down to earth after he had that little goal run. He was on there for a while. Yeah. So it's kind of like, let's put 3 guys together who haven't really done a lot lately and hope that they find some chemistry. That might be it. Yeah.
So talk after the game, I think it was Saturday's loss to Tampa, this was the quote, and he kind of hinted at it again. He said our best players need to be our best players against a team like Tampa or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along those lines. I think a lot of people kind of took that as a shot at Michkov. I didn't.
I didn't look at it. It was a shot at him at all.
I thought it was more of a Zegras didn't have a really good 2 games.
And Sanheim and York either.
Sanheim and York didn't have a good 2 games, right? Like I think that's what it was. It was more those guys. Yeah, Michkov didn't play well either. He was not good. But I don't think Rick Tocchet looks at Michkov right now in the moment as one of the Flyers' best players. In the moment.
I don't think he does.
Right? Like, I'm not. That's not a knock. That's not saying that he's not a good player. It's just saying that in the moment he's certainly not one of their best players. So when you're saying we need our best guys to be our best guys, and they weren't. I think he's kind of pointing out the guys at the top of his lineup.
Yes.
Who just were not very good in those 2 games.
They weren't. And, you got to give Tampa a lot of credit for the way they played. But you wanted to see your best player stepping up in those efforts and trying to show a team like Tampa, hey, we're here. We've been here all year.
Right.
And we're not going anywhere. And that was not the case. They got really, really shellacked in both games.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was pretty good plays by Tampa. But those are the games that you need. Like I said to someone last week, if you're a top pair defenseman and you're out against the Kucherov line, what's your goal? It's to shut them down totally. It's not to give them 1 assist or to get them on the board and be happy with that. It's to completely shut them down.
Right.
And that's the mindset you have to have. And then there wasn't a lot going on offensively. I thought Zegras turned the puck over far too many times, especially in the first game against Tampa.
Yes, he did.
On Saturday night. And those allowed for a lot of chances to go back the other way towards the Flyers. That helps nobody, including a struggling goaltender in Sam Ersson.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I think – so, like, I really do believe that that's who Tocchet was directing that to more, not towards Michkov. I know everybody's sensitive towards any comment that Tocchet makes of thinking it's negative about Michkov. I don't think he was talking about him at all with those comments. I think those were directed at other players on the team. Here's a guy I wanted to ask you about that we haven't talked about in a while. And it was interesting that, he had the 1 game where they pulled him out of the lineup and it was a surprise. Like, we weren't expecting it. And like, even at the morning skate, he was in the lineup and then they pulled him out right before the end. It's kind of been a little all over the defensive lineup is Emil Andre.
Yeah.
Like, what are you seeing there? Have you seen, I know you watch those guys like a hawk. Are you seeing a little bit of a fall off in his play?
Yep.
I have too. Okay.
I have, yeah. He came up, right? He didn't make the team. He came up. He played well.
Yeah.
They set him back down again. They called him back up. He started playing well.
Yeah.
And he finally, I think he finally figured out what he was in this league. To me, he's a really good player when he's as physical as he can be for a guy his size, but when he moves the puck efficiently up the ice. and joins the rush, makes that one quick play, gets up the ice with the forwards. He hasn't done that lately. He struggled defensively, struggling to contain guys in the zone.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going back for the puck with the authority that he had before, and he's not making the same kind of outlet passes as he was because of that.
Yeah.
But I do think he struggled.
Yeah. And so that makes me wonder, Bundy, as we go into the last 10 minutes of the program here, when we kind of look ahead, what are the Flyers going to be looking to do to improve this team, right? Because I'm of the mindset that they are still thinking, and as they should be because of where they are in the standings, they still think that they are a playoff team this year.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're not going to be the kind of team that's going to give up major assets for rental players. They're not that far along, right?
Right.
But they do see the great value in getting there for the group. Experienced playoff hockey. There's something to that, and you can attest to that, right? So where might they look to upgrade? And I look at three things that I think that they might try to do. We've talked about the goaltender.
Just depends what kind of an upgrade you're looking for.
Yeah.
How big an upgrade are you looking for?
I don't think they're going big.
Right.
I don't. I really don't. I think that they're looking to do one of two things. They're looking in holistically with a player that they're going to acquire. They're either going to acquire somebody who is a rental but is really cheap.
Yep.
Right. The Eric Johnsons of the world, right? Like that kind of move, right? Somebody that's not going to cost them anything.
Right.
Or they're going to be looking to acquire a player that can help them beyond this season.
Right.
So that's what they're looking to do. But they also don't want to sell the farm. They don't want to give up high draft picks and top prospects to bring some, unless it's somebody of substance.
Right.
That it's like not a middle of the lineup guy. So the three things that I think that they need, one is the backup goalie, which we've talked about ad nauseum. I really just don't trust Sam Ersson. Even if he plays tomorrow night, I can't fathom that guy being the goalie for 15 games the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And you think you're making the playoffs. I just can't. I can't wrap my head around that. So I think they have to look for an upgrade there. It might be internal. It might be external. We'll see, but that's got to be something. The second thing has to be a fourth line or a third line center. Somebody that to be a bottom six center that is better than Rodrigo Abels or even possibly better than Couturier, and you could slide Couturier down the line. And that's not a shot at Rodrigo Abels. I think it's just a matter of you need more out of your center position.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Abels is a perfectly fine fourth line guy. But for this team, because of where they are, you've lost Tyson Forster, who's not a center, but you lost his production. You've lost his play for the rest of the season. You've got to figure out a way to kind of make up some of that. And Rodrigo Abels is not a guy that's going to make up some of that.
No, he's not.
Right. So you need that kind of center that could be somewhere in your line. You're not going to get a 1C in a trade. You're just not. So it's got to be somewhere else in the lineup. I think that's the second thing that they're going to look to do. The third one, and this comes off the question that I just asked you about Emil Andre, is do they look for a better third pair defenseman?
Yeah, I mean, you have Juleson, who's a perfect 7, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like he can come right off your bench, but upgrading that position, and does Andre take another step forward and kind of quell whatever rumors may go on with looking for another defenseman? Is there a move for Risto? Is somebody going to overpay dramatically for Ristolainen?
Right,
because his name's been out there.
Yeah.
People are looking to upgrade their defense, and it's going to, like as Danny said, it's going to take a lot to get him.
Yeah,
it's going to have to be a crazy offer.
Right, I agree. Look, and you've pointed this out. Like Toronto overpaid for Scott Lawton.
Incredibly overpaid.
Right? A number one pick. It's top 10 protected, but even if it goes the year after that, when it's unprotected, you're talking about a team that's kind of working his way back down.
Yeah.
They're working their way back down as opposed to a team that's on the rise. So it's probably a decent pick. And then Grebenkin, who's a top 9 forward in the NHL.
Yep.
Right? So you gave up a lot to get Scott Lawton.
Yep.
Okay? If you get that kind of offer for Rasmus Ristolainen, I think Danny Briere would take it.
Yeah, he
an
might.
NHL player and a first-round pick.
If you got a player or like a depth player that's an NHLer and a first-round pick for Risto, you have to really consider that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. especially since he has another year left on his contract too.
Yes.
Right. It's a similar situation with Scott Lawton. Right. Lawton had one more year beyond when they sold. So it's like you're trading him for a year plus, and I think that the year plus is where you get the benefit of getting a little bit more for the player.
Yeah.
Right. So that could be. So it could be one of those things where you're kind of trying to find the machinations of it. Right. Where you're trying to put together like, okay, well, we might move this guy, but it's to make us better here.
Right.
Right. It's kind of like one supplements the other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I think is what it's going to be. And I'm going to break another Russ rule here, Bundy, and we have 4 minutes left in the show because the game is about to start.
7:30 tonight.
Oh, it's a 7:30 start.
7:30.
Oh, so you guys have a half hour before the game even starts. I thought it was a 7 o'clock start. So we usually put our picks out on the show when we do press row show. Russ doesn't like us to do it on this show because he says nobody wants to hear about the picks after the fact. But it's something we do every game. And I know that Russ picked the Sabres. He sent his pick at 10 o'clock this morning, which I think was like 4 in the afternoon in Vienna.
Yep.
Right. So it was 10 a.m. He didn't even know who was in net yet. Lucky for him, it's Vladar that he picked a low score. I think he picked the Sabres 3-2.
Yep.
And intern Andrew picked the Flyers, which I believe was 3-2 also. I think they had the same score, just opposite teams. So you and I have different scores, but I think we picked the same team. What do you got?
I'm going tonight. I'm going back with the Flyers. They had a great record after losing a regulation game. Now they've lost 2 games in regulation, both the Lightning. And I'm going to bet on them tonight to get themselves back in gear and find a way to get back in the point standing. It's a really important game. They've answered the bell all year, and I don't see why they can't do it again tonight against the Buffalo team who just lost to Florida the other night.
Yeah, and I think you went 4-3 was your score, right?
I went 4-3 Flyers.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay. I'm going with the Flyers as well. 4-2 is my score. I'm with you, and I think that they're almost fully healthy lineup-wise. I know Bobby Brink's not back in yet, but I like getting your 6 defensemen back in together. I know we talked about them mixing them up a little bit, but I think that that's going to allow them to get back to limiting the chances for these other teams. They got to stay out of the penalty box.
Yep.
The penalty kill has started to be a little bit leaky lately, and that's not a good thing. But I think if they play a more disciplined game and don't give Buffalo a lot of power play chances, I think that there's an opportunity for them to limit Buffalo's shots on goal, try and keep them under 20 or around 20. And I think that the Flyers have a great opportunity to do that. And I do think that they'll have, they recognize we can't let this become a 4-game losing streak.
Oh, no.
They haven't had one of those yet this year.
No, I know.
They
I
haven't.
know. And that to me is the most important thing because I really do believe that this Flyers team, it's important for them to make the playoffs from their standpoint.
Yeah.
From the top of the lineup all the way down. They've gotten themselves in this position. It's past the halfway point of the season. I think it's really important that they do make the playoffs to give guys a look at how that would feel, hockey back in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And I think that they need to really start getting back in it tonight. They cannot let this slide any further.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for us here from Chickies and Pete's in Warrington. Thank you always to Chickies and Pete's for letting us come out and do the show. It's always a good time. Thanks to Oliver Bonk and Carson Bjarnason and the Lehigh Valley Phantoms for having them drive down and spend a half hour with us. That was a lot of fun. We will be back next Thursday, not next Wednesday, next Thursday. So Russ will be with us. It won't be just me and you. We'll have Russ back, but that's why we're doing it on Thursday because that's when he's back from his European trip. And that will be at Chickies and Pete's on the Boulevard in Northeast Philadelphia. So be sure to come out if you're in the area. Come say hi to us 6 p.m. next Thursday. Until then, enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the game tomorrow in Pittsburgh. And then we will see you again from the Press Row Show Saturday afternoon.
12:30.
Finally, an afternoon game.
Afternoon game.
We had on a Saturday afternoon game, which we love. We don't like the late night Saturday nights. Saturday afternoon game against the New York Rangers should be a fun one down at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. So for Bundy, I'm Ant. Thanks to our producer on site, Matt Miro. And we will see you again on Saturday. Have a good one, everyone.